I'm Melanie Lauren,
I'm Holly Chanel.
and this is Dip with Sweet and Hot. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back.
We got another one for you.
Another one. We do have another one for you. Matter of fact, we got another one here, and we got
Uh-huh.
another one someplace else.
Wait a minute. Are we diversifying?
We are like a good financial
I
portfolio.
love this for us. What's happening?
We are diversifying. So you all might have noticed that you missed us last week.
Yes.
And we did not. We're going to talk about that a little bit later in our sweet and hot. But yeah, we were playing in somebody else's playground last
We
week. We
were.
were we were we took a week off to be guests on another podcast called the Tank Podcast. Now, if you will
Two
remember,
actors, no kids.
that's right. It's an acronym for two actors, no kids. And if you remember the episode prior to this, we were privileged and honored to have the co-hosts of the Tank podcast, Mr. Louis Jacques and Mr. Matthew Stewart Jackson, here on
Yes.
our show. To be
Absolutely.
guests for our show where we talked about the audacity to be childless.
Mm-hmm.
And so then we returned the favor and went to go be guests on their podcast. So just like you were able to listen to our episode, which if you didn't, you can go back and listen. You got a chance to hear a little bit about Lewis and Matthew's experience about being childless and their stories on our
Absolutely.
show. Conversely, you can head
Yes.
right on over to the Tank podcast and
Uh-huh.
listen to Holly and I talk about our experience. So I encourage all of you guys to go find the Tank, TANK, which stands for Two Actors, No Kids podcast on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, on wherever you listen to your podcast. Go ahead and check that out. And that's coming soon. I understand it's to be released in the next few days. So by the time you're hearing this, you should be able to go and check out this episode and hear Holly and I talk about this auntie life that we live.
Oh my goodness. And absolutely, absolutely, you should do that. And while you're there, make sure you subscribe to their channel. And then after you do that, make sure you head on over to at Dipped with Sweet and Hot anywhere on all the platforms, but especially on YouTube, where you'll see our gorgeous mugs.
Yes. This one, I decided to be a little audacious with my lipstick choice today. So
You sure did. I
yeah,
like
this
this.
is called. I have to give a shout out because
Okay.
I don't gatekeep and I love supporting my fellow um minority owned businesses. So
Okay. I like this for
is
us.
this is a shade of blue that's called Peace by the makeup line called Power.
Yes,
And I actually
peace.
know the fellow artist, black woman who started this cosmetics company, and that's what I'm wearing right now. So
I love
yeah,
that. All right.
yeah, yeah,
Fantastic.
yeah. So yeah, that's where we were last week. We were over there hanging out on Tank. So make sure y'all catch that. Um,
Now, wait. Not for lack of trying.
okay, let's get into that. That's the sweet and hot of it all, right?
Okay.
That we're gonna explain that. Okay, so let me just set a little bit of context by giving the sweet. Okay,
Please
so
do.
I'll tell you what's sweet. What's sweet is that I've actually been shooting for the past 2 weeks a film that I
Uh,
booked.
uh,
So I've been working, which is amazing, and
come on.
I could say so much more about why this experience was great, but I'll just summarize and say that I was working with some really dope artists, some really behind and in front of the camera.
I love
I got a
this.
chance to work with a new director who now has I have so much love for him because he just really listened and was like an
Oh.
actor's director. And
Oh.
so many of my castmates, you all, a lot of my castmates are more well known. And see you when this film comes out and I can talk about it more because I can't just yet. I'll definitely share with you who's in the film and all of that. But everybody was really welcoming and we just had a great time on set. It's funny. I'm just gonna say, if I
I
do
love
so say so myself, it's funny and I had fun on set. So because I wasn't sitting in my normal spot at this table, at this desk behind my microphone, I
right.
said, you know what? Let me FaceTime Holly from my trailer because I had some downtime in my trailer when I wasn't
Sh-
shooting.
she was just calling the globe, but continue. Go ahead.
I was sitting there eating my delicious catered lunch. I ain't gonna hold you.
Craft
Um,
services.
and I was like, let me call Holly. And y'all, we tried so hard. Like, so that's the sweet of it, right? I was out there living my dreams last week, and that was beautiful. Now, the hot of it is, and Holly will tell you more about this, is I was like, "Ooh, let's record this FaceTime call. We gonna let's just do the show from here. I'm in my trailer. Let's do our sweet and hot right now." And then what happened,
So
Holly?
we record and we hang up because actually she gets called to set in the
Yeah, I actually had
middle.
to go shoot. I was like, I gotta go
Right.
by.
In
Matter
the
of fact,
middle.
I had to change wardrobe on camera. We can show you some of this
Exactly.
footage, like
We should just post it with
we're just
like
with no sound.
with no sound because that's exactly what happened. Like we hang up and I go to download it to upload it to, the places that you're currently watching. And I was like, where's the sound? You should have seen me tapping my phone
Is
like
it
a
me?
like a cat. Like I was just like, what is
And I was so
happening?
disappointed because it was good too,
It was
y'all. It
good.
was like
It was
live in the
good.
moment. You heard the PAs knocking on my door in the background asking me what I
Wait,
wanted to
I
eat.
was talking to the PAs at one point.
Right. They were like, offer me a snack. And how here go Holly? Oh, spinach and artichoke choke dip sounds delicious. Like,
Who is this?
it was
She
just very real, y'all.
it was
And I
very
wanted to
real.
share that with you all. But we are hot about the fact
Not a
that
stitch of sound.
not a stitch of sound. So then Holly logs on. She starts researching. We tried this 3 times.
So wait
I
a
want you to
minute.
know we tried this three
So
times.
Holly, not to be deterred, says, I'm sure that there's a Reddit forum or something. There's an Apple situation that's going to teach me how to do this. And sure enough, it's like, yes. So, we go at it again. I text her and I was like, hey, let me know when you got a break. We're going to try this again. We do it a second time, y'all. Now, listen, was it as good as the first take? No. Was it still
Barely, very
quality,
good.
quality
Yes.
podcasting? It was creme de la creme. I mean, listen, you know us.
The jokes were joking.
The jokes were joking. We hang up because we like, bam, we got it this time. No volume.
None at all. So what
No
we
sound.
discovered, long story short, is that Apple actually prohibits you from screen recording FaceTime calls with audio. And we didn't know that. Otherwise, we wouldn't have wasted our time trying. But we discovered that the hard way, and we're hot about it because we wanted to share those things with you. But nevertheless, we are back.
We are.
And we are here. We're back in our normal places. We know you missed us. Thanks for hanging in with us and tuning again this week. And we got some stuff to talk about.
And you're getting a double dose this week. So
You're getting a double dose here and over on the Tank podcast.
Wait. Before we carry on, I want to go back. I do have a bit of a sweet.
Oh,
I have to update the Dip with Sweet and Hot Public on Silver Hoop Gate. Okay. I found the other missing earring. Now, I don't know.
You already had replaced them.
I had already replaced them. And 3 days ago, I looked down in the closet where I keep my broom and dustpan and laundry detergent and all that. And don't judge me because that tells you how often I might go in there. But we're not talking about that because the vacuum sits in the corner. So don't you judge me. Any hoodles. I looked down and I'm like, is this my earring?
My earring?
Now, the only thing that I can surmise is that somebody broke into my apartment and put it there because I have been scouring, had to. I've been looking across all of this building, but you know what? I'm not.
As my grandmother used to say, if it had been a snake, it would have bit you.
That's okay. I'm not going to accuse anybody. Now I have 2 hoops, 2 pairs of
now you have
silver hoops.
God forbid if it happens again, now you have a spare pair of silver hoops.
I got a pair and a spare. Yes, I do. So that is silver hoop.
I know
Gate.
you all were worried. So
Yes.
she now has 2 pair and we're happy.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
And I'm happy to be back here with you too to talk about something that, unfortunately I feel like is ubiquitous, right, in our world, and that I have some personal experience with. Now it's gonna sound a little funny. We're gonna delve into it. I'm not gonna even try to summarize this. We're just gonna play the clip and then you'll know a little bit about what we're gonna talk about. Okay.
On today's episode of New York is Not a Real Place, I'm getting off the metro. This man looks to me. Oh, you look good, baby. You look good. Thank you. Thank you. You work out? I said, yeah, I work out. He said, I should be a little more consistent, but I work out. He said, oh, okay. Yeah. I can tell you lost some weight because your legs is... I said, what, they jiggly? He says, yeah, they a little jiggly. I said, oh, okay. Yeah, I'm like 15 pounds away from my goal weight. I'll get there. I said, I'm just kind of focused on losing the weight. I'm not really interested in lifting just yet. He says, yeah, you know what you could do? I said, what's that? You could stick to the running. You could stick to the running. And then, start building the muscle. I said, okay. All right. Oh, that's my friend. That's my friend. My friend, what you say I gotta do? I gotta stick to the running?
Eat greens, fish, not too much fatty foods.
Yep.
Try to have like a program, like a...
These are notes.
Occasional day like this, how you're walking.
Yeah.
You can snack on something.
Yeah, just a little snack. I can snack today because I'm walking, y'all. Take notes. Thank you, baby.
All right.
The audacity. Because let me paint this picture just for those who are listening and who are not. If you're watching this on YouTube, then you already know why Holly's jaw dropped the way that it did later in that video. But if you did not, beyond the content of this conversation, which we will delve into, we have to talk about the source a little bit. You know how they say consider the source? We must consider the source. And if you were not able to see this beautiful Black young woman, well put together,
flawless skin,
walking down the street,
minding her Christian business,
and this bum of a man
on a Citibank bike,
on a little bitty bike that's pretty maybe too little for him, who is raggedy looking about the body and the mouth because there are no teeth. Okay, this toothless, audacious man who decides
we're not exaggerating. If you think we're exaggerating, go back and listen to the part and then picture a man with no teeth uttering those words. Doesn't it sound like that?
Yes, it does. I can go ahead and answer for everybody. This toothless man who she doesn't know. This is a stranger who starts off kind of complimenting her, but it's really a backdoor into critiquing her body to her face. He tells her that her legs are jiggly, that she needs to run more, and that she needs to eat, and then proceeds to give her other workout and fitness tips and nutrition tips about what she needs to eat so she can improve and get to her goal weight before his dusty, you know what, rolls off on his little 5-speed bike or whatever that is that the audacity. So what we're going to talk about today, because sadly, this is not unique.
It is not.
We're going to talk about the audacity to talk to strangers about their bodies, especially in a sexual way. Okay? Because that's the experience that I have. So I saw your face, Holly. What were the thoughts going through your head as you watched this video?
Yes to everything that you said. I'm sorry. I'm just tripping over myself because I'm like, for real, this is the world we live in. This is today. This happened right now. Like, that was live and in living color. That was not black and white. Like, that just happened, right?
Oh, this was a relatively recent post on IG. Yeah.
So my thought was, like, why didn't you take the hint? Like, you came back and you doubled down and you were talking to her like she needed. That's it's one thing to say the thing. It's one thing to insult me and say your thoughts, your unsolicited thoughts.
She's just walking down the street going to wherever she's going.
But then to return and double down is another set of stones that, like, I don't know if I'm equipped to combat because you believe this and there's nothing.
He didn't see anything wrong with
He
it.
didn't see anything wrong with that.
He didn't see that she was being facetious by engaging him.
It reminds me of when we were in that chicken spot in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm the wrong party because, like, let me remove myself because these people are okay with this. That man didn't see nothing wrong with what he was saying. And he would volunteer it to anybody, anywhere, anytime. I don't even think that it was any racially driven or
it wasn't racially driven, but it was. Well, I will say this because this is another thought that I had that we can return to. Exactly.
Which is true.
I was like, when was the last time that a man told another man, "Hey, your legs look jiggly"? I'll wait.
I'm sorry. I just got a visual and it was very funny.
It's ridiculous. No, people say stuff like that to women.
To women specifically.
People say stuff like, and I'm not saying, hear me, I know there are exceptions to every rule, but I just happen to, I have a hard time imagining a man being so audacious as to start critiquing another man's body like that. You don't even know me, bro.
I'll be honest with you. I am a fan and a proponent of the gray sweatpants movement because it has allowed me to sexually harass men
the same way you've been sexually harassed.
The same way I've been sexually harassed. But I like do it sarcastically, like, sir, I don't think those sweatpants are gray enough. Like, you know, like little
we
stuff
need a
like
darker hue.
You need a darker hue. I don't. That's a slate might not be your. You know what I mean? Like,
let's go with charcoal.
Let's go with charcoal. But my point is, like, it's something to grasp on. It's a way for me to like take back some of that power because you know
because every time you step out your house, how many times, Holly, does somebody say something to you? A stranger say something to you about your body.
I feel like I could rewrite Ice Cube's "Today is a Good Day" with all the anomalies of the day if that happened. If there was a day.
Because we still waiting on it.
Right. If there was a day, since I was like, I came into awareness. So I will say probably like 11, maybe like 10, 11, 12. Me at about
10 years old.
Yeah.
When people started doing that to me.
Yeah. And so, but since then, like I would have to have had stayed inside my house that day and not seen anybody of the general public.
Yeah.
For that to happen. Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking of a very specific instance where it happened to me recently. Like I said, my earliest memories of like people who I didn't really know commenting, talking to me directly about my body back to probably about age 10. And I want to make a distinction right here because it's one thing to have a thought in your head about, you see someone, you have a thought about their appearance, about their body. It's another thing to even share that opinion with someone else. Hey, look at her.
Right.
Hey, look at him. It's a whole nother level of audacity for you to say that to that person. Okay. And so I can remember that happening to me from age 10, but most recently I had gone to the grocery store. I was in the bakery department. Now, I'm generally a polite person. If I make eye contact with someone, I'll nod a head. I'll say, "Hey, how you doing?" Whatever. I don't act like I didn't see you. I speak generally, and then I keep it moving. So I'm in the bakery department. I see this gentleman, this man. We're looking at some of the same items. I say, "Hey, you know, what's up? How's it going?" Get my item, keep walking. "Oh, how you doing?" Blah, blah, blah. Had a regular exchange, right? I leave the bakery department to continue my shopping. He also does as well. And as we come to like a fork in the road where we split ways, like he's going down this aisle, I'm going down that aisle. He says to me, and I quote, because this impacted me so much, I came home and took notes about it because I knew I was going to talk about it on this show at some time. Because I was like, I'm doing a season about audacity. This is going to come up.
Not the notes.
He says to me, and I quote, "Yeah, I need some new pillows." And I was confused out of context. That's what he said. He didn't, and mind you, several minutes had passed between any communication between us. So I didn't know what he said. So I said, huh? I didn't even know if I really heard what he said. He says, yeah, I need some new pillows in my bed. And he looks me up and down and he says, I would sleep real good at night.
I hate you. Like that
And
is crazy.
and so if you haven't figured it out, he was making a comment about my backside.
Right,
Okay.
right.
He was making a comment about my backside and he decided to make a sexual comment to me, a stranger, about the fact that he looked at my backside and decided that it would be comfortable to lay his head on in his bed. Like he really needs, he want, like that's what he wants to do. He needs pillows like the ones I'm carrying around apparently in his bed. And he says this to a woman that he doesn't know from, he does not, we are strangers. And what I realized was that it bothers me because we need to talk about the difference between a compliment.
Right.
We need to talk about the difference between a compliment and an
And
inappropriate comment.
and just being a creep. Being a freaking creep.
And just an inappropriate comment about a stranger's body. The audacity to make an overtly sexual comment about a stranger's body to their face. And then I was a little bit peeved at myself in the moment because what I realized was that not being fully processed what had happened in the moment, I would have liked to have responded differently to that man than the way that I did. Because what I did was I realized that I laughed in an uncomfortable laugh. And I shouldn't, laugh might be an overstatement. I chuckled in an uncomfortable way. And I realized later that the reason that I did that is because as a woman moving about in misogynistic and rape culture in the United States, I have learned
we're taught to do.
To use laughter as a way to diffuse an uncomfortable and dangerous situation.
Yep.
If I feel like I'm in a situation that could become uncomfortable for me, and we all have seen plenty and dangerous, we all have seen plenty of examples of how situations do get dangerous when women confront men, when women reject men outrightly, they end up dead in some cases. What I have learned to do is to diffuse the situation. So I laughed uncomfortably. I've been nurtured to do that.
Yeah.
And I just walked away. But I wish that I had another instinct in that moment. I wish that I had the instinct to just turn around and very calmly look at him in his face and say, now, why do you feel like that was okay for you to say to me? So let's have a conversation about it. Since you big and bad and audacious enough to say something like to me, a person that you don't know, let's talk about it.
Right.
Why do you feel? No, let's talk about your body right now. And then go in on that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I wish that I would have had the forethought and the response in that moment to actually, because then it could have become not just as a way to, like, quote unquote, get my lick back at him, but let's have a real conversation about it, my guy. Because my guess is that you do this all the time, and maybe no one has ever told you that that's inappropriate. No one has ever told you not to do that. And I missed that opportunity because what I did was what I've conditioned to do as a means of survival, which is laugh, diffuse the situation, and just extricate myself and walk away is what I did. But this all that what and what he could have said, let me just go back to my initial point about the difference between something that's inappropriately audacious and that you should not do. Stop commenting to strangers, talking to strangers about their bodies sexually, versus a compliment. What he could have said is, you look nice today, sis. What he could have said is, man, you're a beautiful woman. There are many things that he could have said without going over into talking about my ass. I don't know you. And it's not a compliment. It's not a compliment.
It's not.
You need to consider, I guess the takeaway for me is you need to consider your relationship status with that person before you decide if it's okay for you to make that type of comment to them. I see you pause though. You're not. I just have a
don't think
problem
that.
with
I just
strangers
don't
doing it.
I just really don't think in general. I think we need to relate to one another better as men and women. Like I understand if that's how you relate, and I understand what you mean about understanding what the nature of the relationship is before you open your mouth. For me, it's like, why is that the first thing that comes? Like, why is that your knee jerk? Why, like, what happened to civility? What happened to good day, miss? What happened to it's a pleasure? How's the
What happened to
weather?
decorum and being
You
polite
know
and
what I mean?
respectful? Well, here's what
Yeah.
I'm circling around that I'll just say outright. It's disrespectful.
Yeah, it's disrespectful as
It's
hell.
disrespectful for you to make a sexual comment about a stranger's body to their face. And the reason I said consider the relationship is because I'm thinking of a situation like I have some male friends in my life who I'm
Yeah.
very close to, right?
Yeah.
And I've known them for more years than I haven't known them at this point. Now, if one of them says something like that to me, that's a whole different reaction that you're getting from me. We've
Well,
got
yeah,
history,
I'm gonna
we've
punch you
got
in the arm and
context.
tell you to shut up. Like,
Right.
yeah.
Like we've got history, and it's coming from a different place from you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so that to me that's different. But I agree with you. We do need to do better about just how we relate to each other. And I guess I just, stop being disrespectful with even if you have the audacity to do it, you have the audacity to think it. That doesn't mean that you should have the audacity to say it.
So I'll give you on the flip side, I think, and women should stop accepting that.
Yeah, that's why I
That's
wish I had responded differently.
and absolutely, and but I want to give a caveat and say and have the understanding that it is only recent history that we do have the autonomy to stand up for ourselves and our persons and our beings without fear of retribution or not being able to provide for ourselves
Sure.
because everything we did and said was dependent upon the favor of a man, right?
Correct.
So like I get and I understand how this dynamic has been built and conditioned into men and women. And I'm speaking in the binary here because that's my experience, but not to discount the binary at all. So just giving that disclaimer. I'm sorry, not to discount genders outside of the binary. My apologies. But women haven't always been able to say anything back. So I understand how that is conditioned in men to be that overt, to be handsy, to violate somebody's person, and for women to just take it and to laugh it off and to just deal with it. Like I can't tell you how many times I've been told to, oh, he didn't mean any harm. That's not, he's married. That don't mean a thing. Man, get out of here. So, I just wanted to validate the trauma response
That I had in the moment.
that you had in the moment
Yeah.
because that definitely happens. I don't know. I won't say that I'm different. It depending on the situation, I deal with it differently. I have a couple of instances. So first off, let me just say this, and I'm gonna put a button and stamp it. Stop ending sentences or beginning sentences with for a big girl. Not a compliment. Anything that came before, anything that came after, null and
Not a
void.
compliment. Yeah. Yeah.
End of story. Now, I have been on I'll never forget. I was on a date with a guy. This man was fine. Oh,
Oh, that just makes the letdown
and it just
even
makes it let down.
even
The
more
whole time
severe.
we went to one of my favorite breakfast spots. We're eating breakfast. And as we're trading questions and responses back and forth, if I were to average maybe every third exchange, he mentioned something about my lips. And at this point, I'm captive because I'm going to finish my breakfast. Okay. Um, and I was like,
Fair enough.
how do I handle this? And so the after like the sixth time that he had mentioned that, yeah,
Six.
I be in for the plot. After the sixth time that he mentioned my lips, I decided to test the water and I said, ha ha ha, some say I have DSLs.
Mm.
And he was like he sat up. And I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Like, how base?
And
How
how base, but also let me
class?
just because we have classy listeners here on Dip with Sweden and
We
Hot. So let me
do.
just translate a little bit. If you don't know what DSLs stand for,
It stands for fellatio provision lips.
right? The D and then the
Fellatio
S.
provision.
The S and the L stand for sucking lips. So
Okay.
you
All
got
right.
blank sucking lips.
Yes.
Very continue.
And so, which I don't know. We'll see. Um, but
Again, but
regardless,
six
six
times
times on a first date.
on a first date.
And what I walked away from, because I mean we didn't have a second date, but what it said to me was like somebody has responded positively to this before.
Mm-hmm.
You have been successful with this tactic before, and I'm not sure how. Like, I'm not like why, because I was like, so at the point that I acknowledge that you like my lips and that I see where this is going, was I then supposed to drop to my knees under the table
And prove it.
and prove it? Like, I
Like
don't,
what is your end goal for saying that to me?
what was
That
supposed to
many
happen
times.
that
Right.
many times? Like, was we supposed to just go get in the car and get her done? Like, I and
What are you looking for from me, my guy? Like right now, though. Like
like,
what's your ideal response in your mind? That what do I say back or do back when you say that to me?
have I told the story on this podcast about how I stayed on the phone with a dude in a first phone conversation from an online dating situation, um, where he talked about my ass for 45 minutes straight,
An
straight
initial phone call.
on an initial phone call. And again, after about 10 minutes, I was in for the plot. I'll never forget, I was watching a basketball playoff game. So I was, captive audience, whatever. I can't tell you how many times this man asked me about my ass. He asked me if I wore leggings. He asked me if I like to be bent over counters. He asked me, I'm not lying to you. He asked me if what other comments have been said about my ass. And I'm, if you can't tell, I'm pretty good at deflecting, segueing. So like I didn't answer everything, or I would deflect. But when I tell you, he was so persistent, so persistent. And then after it all, he was like, so when can I see you? And I was like, at this point, I was just here for the comedic fodder, sir. You have a nice night. Like,
Good
what?
night.
What? Yeah.
But to your point, it's conditioning. Some of it is conditioning. First of all, it's conditioning that people more often men in our society are conditioned um to be that audacious with the things that they say to women that they don't know in the
Mm-hmm.
first place. And then second of all, it gets reinforced, which is the point that you were making, by the way that women respond when things like that, inappropriate things, audaciously inappropriate things, are said to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, it has worked before. It has gotten somebody did drop to their knees. In
I
other
just
words, like, you know what I mean? And somebody else that you've said that, in my case, someone else that you said that to in the grocery store was like, okay, well, here's my number. I can come over. I can be
I
these can be your two new pillows or
and so
whatever.
okay, so
Like,
let me say this because I don't want to judge anyone else's kink because that might be somebody's situation like
mm-hmm,
grocery store pickups, right? Or head public head. Like that could
mm-hmm,
be somebody's thing.
mm-hmm.
I think where men go wrong is assuming that every single woman they meet is going to act like that. That don't confuse me with her. Just because you had success with it once, maybe twice, doesn't mean that you come at me all sideways every single time.
And just recognize that while it was received, like you said, with positively by someone else, it could also be received by another person very negatively and as a
Absolutely.
disrespect over into something very inappropriate. And so you need to get your IQ up
Yeah.
about, which is my point about strangers. Because see, if you knew me better, you would know you would have a better idea, but you decided to about how I would respond to that. But see, you decided to say that to a stranger. And sometimes people are doing that to test the waters to see how you are going to respond. Hey, is she gonna go for this or is she
Right.
not? But the audacity, my point is that it takes, well, in my opinion, an unacceptable and an inappropriate level of audacity to make a sexual comment to someone about their body, especially if you like this dude in that Instagram video. Let's talk about what she should have said is, okay, so you've given me tips about fitness and nutrition. Now let me talk to you about your teeth or lack thereof. Let me give you a few tips. You know what I mean? And you know what I'm saying? Like, but then I'm wrong. If I
No,
start saying that, now I'm wrong. If I respond like that, you know what I mean? You can dish it out, but you can't take it.
the other thing though too that I wish people had more compassion for, because what it calls to mind too that I wish people would stop doing is telling people to smile. You don't
Yes.
stop telling people to smile. You don't know what folks have going on out here. I don't know if anybody's looked outside, checked the news. The world is on freaking fire. Everybody's not going to be smiley and happy go lucky all the doggone time.
Well, not only that, what it makes me think of, just to go rapid fire right here, is, and a lot of us have learned, some of us still haven't, so it bears repeating. Stop asking women, are they pregnant?
Oh my goodness.
Because sometimes we see swollen abdomens
Mm-hmm.
and we make assumptions and you don't have any idea. It could be a medical condition. And I say that admittedly in full transparency as someone who made that embarrassing mistake once. There
Mm.
was a girl who was like a shampoo girl at a salon that I went to years ago. She was naturally, her body type was very thin,
Okay, gotcha.
but she had a big old hard looking round stomach. And so
Mm-hmm.
when I came in, let's say the next month or 2 months later or whatever, I was like, oh, you had your baby. She wasn't pregnant.
Oh no.
It's the last time I made that mistake. And I learned the hard way. So
Yeah.
take it from
Yeah.
me. Like, just
Yeah.
stop making assumptions. If someone tells you they're pregnant, that's one thing. If not, and also, I shouldn't have said that to her because I didn't know for sure. So I could have had a thought in my head. And this is my point. My grandmother used to say, everything that crossed your mind shouldn't cross your lips.
Because you also don't know what somebody's fertility journey is.
Right.
Maybe they're not ready to talk about it. Maybe this is their rainbow baby. Like, I just need, you know, folks
Let's
hate.
channel this audacity for
And that's the
positivity.
thing. And what we're saying is we're talking about empathy. And I know people are tired of hearing the word. I know people are tired of hearing it attached to compassion. But that's really all it takes. Just for a second, think about, because Melanie knows. Listen, me and Melanie used to have a running joke years ago because I was the most tactless person on earth. I would say whatever, and then I would be upset, like, why are people mad? It's the truth. And they were like, Holly, maybe folks aren't ready for so much truth. And I was like, who's not ready for the truth? And then they're like, and so with me and Melanie, this took years. Okay. I have become such the tactful person that I've become a DEI B maven. Okay.
My how things change.
So my how things change. So I get and I understand people who have a commitment to the truth. I understand and I have compassion for that. But ask yourself, is your truth, because it's relative, is your truth more important than your neighbor's humanity?
And are you infringing upon mine with your audacious statement to my face? Like, or to anyone's face. Obviously, I've been talking about my personal experience here, but we all have a lot of us, I shouldn't say we all, a lot of us have experiences like this. So I just wanted to talk about that. I wanted to highlight that audacity today.
I'm sorry. It would be irresponsible. I think the height of audacity is for the government to tell me what I can do with my body.
Now, since we talking about talking to strangers about their body.
Yeah, I said it.
You're correct.
I think that is audacious as hell. You don't live my life. You don't have my experiences. You have no idea. How dare you tell me?
And you don't have the risks.
Wait a minute.
You don't walk in the risk.
You don't walk in the risks. You don't want to provide health care for the risk. But how dare you tell me what to do with my body, and I still have to pay for family planning and tampons and pads and everything. How dare you?
And childcare.
I have experience
with people all the time about how expensive childcare is. Like that in and of itself. You want me to have this baby, but now you won't give me maternity leave. Like which one is it gonna be? The audacity. The audacity, yes, it did bear mentioning, and I'm glad that you said that.
Yeah, I wasn't even trying to get political on here, but like, and look, I'm gonna say this. I'm pro-choice.
Started now.
Here's the thing. I think everybody should have the right to decide what is best for them.
Mm-hmm.
Decide just decide. That's we. I am going to step off said soapbox, and I am going to turn it over to Melanie for another
to calm
episode
herself down. She's
of
using our story
audacious
time.
Yeah, audacious story time. Yeah, I'm using my calm voice.
She's trying to soothe herself. She's trying to self-soothe right now.
I'm self-soothing. This is listen, I have taken Melanie's tactful training to new heights. Okay. I meditate and say thank you. I appreciate it. So, Melanie, what do you have to offer the dippers for this week's audacious story time? Or
okay.
I know you lying.
So this what happened, y'all. I was doing some reflection, which I recommend for everyone.
Okay.
And I have a lot of recall. I have a very strong recall. I remember things. I think we've talked about this on this show before. Mm-hmm. And the Holy Spirit, because I spend time with the Lord, okay?
Come on in my room, you were saying.
Brought to memory some times when I had behaved in a way that's not consistent with who I say I am.
Okay.
Less than. I had done some things that were wrong, and they had happened long ago, and I had not apologized to these people. So what we'll talk about next time is related to this story, where I pick up the phone and I call one of my exes who I had not spoken to in 4 years.
4 years.
No contact, no text, no Facebook likes and comments, no contact for 4 years. I pick up the phone and I call this man to apologize.
Was this necessary?
Now we're gonna talk about that on next week's episode of Dip with Sweet and Hot. But for now, I'm Melanie Lauren.
I'm Holly Chanel, and this is Dipped with Sweet and Hot.
Go Bears! Next week. talking. I know it was delayed, but they won too. Bye, y'all.